This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. Our lay-led summer services are a little different from the minister-led services during the rest of the year. They're an hour earlier, often shorter, and sometimes quite different from our typical services, and today's service is no exception. We light this chalice, which transforms oil into pure light and warmth, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world into the love and activity of our daily lives. Please join me in the call to worship, which is text number 1 on the laminated card in your pew. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. In many faith traditions, there is reverence for silence and reminder that our busy minds need rest and our planned lives need a sense beyond the limits of our control. In Quaker spirituality, silence is the center of worship and the direct access to sacred inspiration. A note from the text, Quaker Faith and Practice. Words must be purified in a redemptive silence if they are to bear the message of peace. The right to speak is a call to the duty of listening. Speech has no meaning unless there are attentive minds and silent hearts. Silence is the welcoming acceptance of the other. So today, we will practice silence together. We'll warm up with 5 minutes of silence, and then next we can share some things that we've noticed, feelings, thoughts, sensations, whatever it happens to be that comes to us in that silence. Each section of silence, and then we'll follow that with another 10 minutes of silence, and each section of silence will begin and end with a chime. And I will keep track of the times so that you can let go of structure. To start, Stephen Dick, with some adaptation, will help us enter into silence. He writes, "There is rarely enough silence in our services. Perhaps we are too busy for silence. Perhaps we are afraid of what we might discover. Today, we will give silence its place, a luxury in this far from silent world." So to ease us in, let us pause to listen to the unheard world. Relax into a comfortable position. Find a comfortable breath. Breathe in and out very slowly. Quiet yourself and listen to the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of your heart. Let your body breathe. Listen to the silence. Let your thoughts and feelings pass through you. Let them be what they are, and then let them go, simply noting. Spend some time in the unheard world. or feelings or sensations that you noticed that you'd like to share? Atticus, can we turn this up? Great, okay. Are there any thoughts or feelings or sensations that you noticed that you'd care to share?
I meditate regularly, and I open a circle for a couple people from this church and others. I think what was most meaningful for me just in this first 5 minutes was not having to keep track of time. So thank you.
Great. Did it feel long or short? Yeah, neat. Yeah. So good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. So, for anyone who wants to know, so this actually marks 112 days since I've just tuned out the news. And I'm not against being informed. What I mean is that I used to be somebody who was very anxious, and I didn't even realize it. And so, the thing is, though, what I kind of realized over the past couple months, especially the last 4 months, is that I'm consuming so much digitally. And I think I can say that I'm not the only one, especially nowadays. So what I did was I really cut out my digital consumption, and I think for me, I found myself more alone to my thoughts, to the point that one thing I also noticed too, that it's kind of really hard to be in your thoughts if you're just constantly dealing with so much stimulation. When you constantly feel as if the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you could check social media, listen to music, when really you need the chance to just be able to just, be alone. And so I think from there, I think it was just less zoning out and more just being able to process things around me, especially things that are really important to me. So I don't want to go too off.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of us have that experience of waking up and being tuned into our phones. I heard something on NPR this morning about a college student who took a day off, and his podcast about that. It was really eye-opening.
I never experienced true silence. For one thing, there's always ambient noise, but for another thing, I have tinnitus. So I am accompanied at all times by this wonderful background. But for me, it actually sounds like the sounds from the woods at night at my grandmother's farm in Mississippi. And so when I sit in silence, what I hear is crickets and tree frogs, and I have a visual image of the farm and the woods, so that there's sort of an extra dimension to it. One thing I notice, though, is that typically in a service during the regular year, when we sit in silence, I can hear the clock, but I don't think the clock has been wound all summer. So I missed the clock.
I did wind the clock today, and I think it's the fans. I was
is that
very aware of the noise of the fans.
so? Is the clock running? So I'm not. My tinnitus is drowning it out.
Well, I think the fans.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hearing it either, but yeah.
My husband and I met 47 years ago. He died several years ago. In silence, which I don't manage to achieve overwhelmingly often, I hear different things which cause visual images for me as well as auditory. And I think over time about the emptiness, I'm learning that death takes away a life, but it doesn't take away a relationship. And that's that's something that I increasingly feel and increasingly trust, and silence helps me to get to that place.
Thank you. That's really beautiful.
Well, I listen to my UU friends and think you use the 5 minutes of silence in a very meaningful way. And when I'm in silence, my mind kicks in. it wants to put an idea into my head to process. And I was aware of Steve telling me, push it away. So I was trying so hard to push it away. But that is difficult. And I, would like to find a silent space where my ideas are not poking in.
I found that I also do a meditation daily, and I use an app, so there's kind of a guidance to it. So 5 minutes of complete silence with no guidance is very different, even though I'm holding my phone to keep the time. So, and the thing about the thoughts, yeah, they're there. I try to think about just accepting that they're there and just not feeling I have to do anything with them. It is challenging. We're always thinking. Are we ready for 10 minutes? Thinking, feeling, whatever comes in. Sometimes it's noticing a sensation. Great. We'll get ready for 10 minutes. I'd like to invite you to share any other thoughts, feelings, sensations that occurred if you have anything you wish to say.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for this sanctuary. I'm Peggy. I'm not a member, but I come to here. I felt that I can return home and feel welcome here. So silence. Couple of things come into my mind. When I am listening during the holiday weekend, I can hear clearly the bumblebees are humming in the garden. And I can hear birds are chirping. I don't hear the traffic. I don't hear the mowing. It's the tranquility, it's peace, it's joy that, like you mentioned earlier, the rain, the wind, the storm, what nature brings to us, truly enjoy it. So, I just returned from out of a country trips. One of the differences that I hear that nature is talking to us is we need to not only be in peace with each other and accept the differences among all humanity, but at the same time, I think we need to listen to the nature. The insects are collapsing. So the differences in different states, in different countries, they accept the different approaches by stay silence and listen and observe. One of the takeaways that I felt is I see in this country a lot of different states along the highway, in the park, in the public area, they stop mowing the grass. They leave the prairie to our insects, to the pollinators, to our four-legged friends, and to benefit the balance that we need so badly. And the other thing, I think I felt we're so lucky. We have so much abundance in this country, where other country is not as fortunate as we are. So I will end here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve.
Any other thoughts or sensations you'd like to share?
I love this church when it's filled with music. It is such a privilege to sit here in quiet in this big, there's something different about big space. And I can't quite describe how it sounds different or feels different or smells different. It just feels different, and it's very different than from the joy of music, but it is a joy.
Wonderful. So as a way of ending this portion of the service, I would like to invite you to stand as you are able and look around the room engage other people's eyes, and spend a moment with them, enjoying each other's presence in silence. Today's offering is dedicated to the services and ministry of First Parish Milton. To give, please follow the instructions on the laminated card in your pew. Normally, at this point in the service, we enjoy a musical offering. In keeping with today's theme, we'll enjoy the sounds of silence. And please join me in the unison dedication, which is text number 4 on the laminated card in your pew. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity. And then if you'll please join us in our closing hymn, it's number 16 in the gray hymnal, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," and we'll sing it twice through. as I extinguish the chalice, I'll speak the benediction. The peace that passeth understanding, the peace of spirit which the world can neither give nor take away, be among us and abide in our hearts. You are welcome to stay in silence a bit longer. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Thank you.